Pokemon is an international phenomenon with multiple games, spin-offs, merchandise, movies, and it spans over 20 years of video game history and popular culture. In this video, I'm going to give you the ultimate whistle-stop tour of the franchise and how it's changed through the years. This video is ideal for puzzled parents wanting to know what their child is on about, franchise fans who want to reminisce, or curious newbies who want to know more. Buckle up for nostalgia. Okay, little bit of housekeeping first. Look at the blackboard, everyone. A Pokemon is a pocket monster and also the name of the franchise. The pocket monsters are the little creatures. Gen refers to a generation of games grouped by era of release under a mainline game. The games and consoles are listed where possible. Pink if it's my footage, white if it's courtesy of someone else, and I've given them their credit. All IP, intellectual property, belongs to Nintendo, Game Freak, Warner Brothers, Niantic, the Pokemon Company, and Creatures Incorporated, plus anybody else I've forgotten. Good. We can get going now. At the beginning of each game, you need to collect your first Pokemon. In Kanto, during the first gen, and also the 7th gen Let's Go games, you meet a professor of Pokemon called Professor Oak. You are the main protagonist, here represented by Ash. You also have someone competing to be a Pokemon master, in this case Professor Oak's grandson Gary. Finally, you have the bad guys, which in Kanto is Team Rocket.
Prepare for trouble!
Make it double!
To protect the world from devastation.
To unite all peoples within our nation.
To denounce the evils of truth and love.
To extend our reach to the stars above.
Jesse!
James!
Team Rocket blast off at the speed of light!
Surrender now or prepare to fight!
Meow, that's right!
You also receive a Pokédex from the Professor. The Pokédex evolves over the gens, but basically is an encyclopedia of Pokemon pictures, facts, figures, and care information. It's an essential part of the Pokemon collecting process and allows you to log each one you see or catch. There's so many Pokemon to meet as you explore your environment. You can't see them moving around on the screen in earlier gens, but the Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu games show you them interacting in their own environment. Come too close to a Pokemon or a trainer, it will be time to battle. Each battle scene looks very similar across gens, with some gens allowing double or triples battles. You have the choice of 4 moves for each Pokemon at a time. Some affect you, and some affect the Pokemon you are battling. Some have an effect, for example, Confuse Ray will confuse the opponent, making it hard or impossible for him to make a move. Some moves cause damage, as seen in this video. Winning a battle gives you money and experience. If a Pokemon faints, another will be called until you have used all your Pokemon. If they all faint, you will be transported to the nearest Pokemon Center for help. When battling a wild Pokemon, you can weaken it enough to be able to catch it using a Pokeball. Battling to weaken a Pokemon isn't necessary in the Pokemon Go and Let's Go games. It's simply a matter of which Pokeball you use and berries in combination with the Pokeballs. In the Pokemon Center, you have a help desk where kindly Nurse Joy will take your Pokemon and heal them of all their status ailments and any lost HP. They also revive Pokemon that have fainted. In the earliest gens, the centres were just a place to use the nurse and to use the PC to exchange any Pokemon stored. You can only carry 6 at a time after all. In some gens, the Pokemart, a Pokemon item shop, was a separate building. However, in most, it was merged with the Pokemon Center. In some gens, there was also places to access minigames. The Sun and Moon games also had a little coffee shop inside the centre. There are many items that you can buy, collect and use in the world as you travel. As you progress, items are added to the shop, for example, different types of Pokeballs and stronger healing items. The Cable Club was a method of using a link cable with another player to trade Pokemon or battle between devices. Later gens started getting more experimental. The Cable Club was extended in Gen 2 to offer compatibility with Gen 1 games, so you could transfer existing Pokemon over to complete a Pokedex.
And a friend with a Game Boy, and with both packs you can catch them all. Got ya!
In Japanese versions of the games, early communications methods were also available, setting the scene for the approach of global communications via the internet. This was achieved via an adapter for the Game Boy that allowed the device to link to a phone line via ADSL. Gen 4 saw the worldwide introduction of wireless communications and also the use of the Nintendo DS microphone to allow verbal communications, as well as typed communications such as email. There were also a few mini-games and the ability to make Pokemon food in Wi-Fi plazas. Gen 7 brought all online features, multiplayer events and mini-games together in the Festival Plaza with varied success. In Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, due to the upgrades in wireless compatibility and the changes to the storage systems, there are no Cable Club areas or PC transfer terminals as there were in the original Gen 1 game. You have a special building instead for communicating between the game and Pokemon Go. Gyms are where you gain badges to show your worth on the journey to becoming a Pokemon Master. You win a themed badge for defeating a gym leader who specialises in a certain Pokemon type. These battles are usually challenging, especially in the latter stages of the game. All the gym leaders must be defeated in order to progress to the Pokemon League, where you face the ultimate Elite Four, each of whom have very challenging Pokemon to defeat. In Pokemon Go, gyms are held by other players. In Pokemon Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, there are no gyms. Instead, you have to complete trials against Island Kahunas and Totem Pokemon to show your skill. Winning badges earns you obedience from higher level Pokemon and the ability to buy and use higher level potions or items from the stores. Each gym also has a puzzle element to it. You have to find your way around the gym to get to the gym leader, facing other lesser trainers on the way. Pokemon evolve when they reach a certain level, and levelling up is achieved by battling other trainers, gym leaders or wild Pokemon to gain experience. Pokemon can have 2 or 3 evolutions in the course of gaining experience, and each evolution brings new moves and stats. For example, Charmander evolves into Charmeleon, and then Charizard. Some evolutions can be triggered by using a particular item, such as these Sun and Moon stones. This can be particularly useful in the case of Eevee, who has the potential to evolve into one of 8 different Pokemon, depending on the environment it evolves in or the stone you use. Using the stones, you have more control over which evolution you get. Stones can also force an evolution before the level is reached. It would be impossible for me to cover every single spin-off here, however much I'd like to. That's probably another video in itself. However, the Pokemon brand branched out quickly to cash in on its huge appeal. Educational games, mysteries, art, pinball, fighting games and much more all spawned out of the mainline games. Pokemon Go is one of the most successful apps of all time, with a gross revenue of $3 billion as of December 2018, and that's generated from in-app purchases. The game has spanned every mainline Nintendo home console and handheld device, plus the PC and Apple and Android devices. There are movies, cartoons, toys, board games and trading cards. It currently stands as one of the top grossing video game franchises of all time. The most recent movie, a live-action imagining of Detective Pikachu, grossed $170 million in its first weekend and is currently the best-received video game-to-movie title of all time.
Now, let's identify which Pokemon it was.
The fans, who have been dedicated for over 20 years, are getting to relive, or simply continue, their own childhoods as Pokemon grows from strength to strength. So, to finish, I'd like to introduce you to some of my fellow fans who are as passionate about Pokemon as I am. Thanks for watching.
Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. Pokemon!
Pokemon, gotta catch it. Aha, so true.